Hi friends, Larysa here. I just got back from a really awesome swing lesson and I know I had something to say and I wanted to figure out what it was. I often feel like I could go in 100 directions with things, but I think I'm going to talk about confidence with my own experience and in regard to dance. When I used to social dance a long time ago, everything in life was a lot more on high alert. I was more trying to find my place and more wondering what people might be thinking. I remember feeling so awkward about, oh, should I just be silent while I dance, or should I have a conversation? Because at the time it felt really kind of weird to just stand there not talking, being inches from someone's face and touching them and yet not speaking to them. But I remember one dance teacher said, often she just likes to think of it as she's just enjoying the ride. And that made sense, but it took a while to still feel comfortable. And then, eye contact, you look at them. I try not to look at the ground too much, but I know today I certainly was. And I know as a leader, it takes so much concentration that I'm not trying to connect with the eyes. Whereas as a follower, I want to be open to connecting with my eyes, but I don't want to be weirding them out, doing it if they don't want it. But then if I'm not looking at them, I try to check in with them to see, are they looking for me to make eye contact? Because I don't want to be neglecting that if they want it. And so many different possibilities used to go through my head a lot more fervently, and I've really relaxed a lot and gained more confidence in just the whole kind of be in the moment concept and not worrying about this, worrying about that, and wondering, is this okay, is that okay? Just going for it and letting it be what it is. But I do find sometimes it could be if it's a really great dancer, more often if it's even a dancer that's anything past beginner and somehow I end up leading, I will feel these insecurities resurface. And there's one dancer that sometimes will ask, oh, do you want to lead? I'm like, if I get to dance with you, I don't want to waste my one dance with you on me leading so kind of not as effectively as you would lead. So I don't mind leading beginners because I will know more than they do, even if, I would know more than they would know if they were leading. But beyond that, I'm not as intimidated to lead them because even if I do mess up, they might not really notice because they're focused on what they're doing. But the higher up we get, the more I'm like, I don't want, them to get, I don't want to expose myself to potential judgment, etc. So at the end of class, he asked, do we have any more questions? I would usually ask after class because I had kind of a question. I didn't want to make it too long, but I thought it was relevant. And I'm glad I did. I was basically asking, I believe in rules. I like to follow rules, but I'm not someone who's ever willingly done so blindly. I wouldn't be into the concept of, here's a rule, I'm just going to follow it because it's a rule without knowing why or what it's in place for or who made it or why they made it or what their logic was. Granted, I don't have to know this all the time, but it helps me to get on board with the rule if I know why it's there. If it's just some arbitrary thing, fine. But just like we know, things like don't use the hairdryer in the tub got onto that warning sheet because someone did that. It's helpful to know, is this kind of crazy rule because someone did something stupid and now they have to protect themselves, or did some dictator type person just make it up? Like, why do we have this rule in place? Is it antiquated? These things don't apply anymore. Like, was this from horse and buggy time? Can we get with the times? Like, is it really necessary, etc.? So that being said, I like rules and I respect people more who follow rules than those who just don't care and do whatever the heck they want, but I still like to know why. And there was a time at a restaurant where I came in before they were closing and they're like, oh, we've thrown stuff away, but I noticed they still had quite a few vegetables available, and the guys before me, they just walked out when they heard, we threw stuff away, we're kind of closed. But I asked, well, I see vegetables, is it possible to at least get that and maybe not have the full meal but pay a smaller amount to get a smaller amount, but still something? So I ended up with a meal I was happy with, got something to eat, and those guys just didn't even bother asking if there were alternative options. But nonetheless, sometimes things can be worked around. It's not a be-all, end-all just because someone says something, but at the same time, you have to respect things. You can't just do whatever you want. I was also thinking on the ride home about, I might talk about how I feel people can be different species, kind of like people who don't use their turn signal, to me, are a different species than I am, because if I think of them the same as me, and they don't use their turn signal, then they're just a terrible person who's not caring at all about the safety of others. But if they're a different species, and that's just what's typical for that species, okay, it's like they're a mouse in the house. And when they get out in the wild, hopefully the eagle will swoop down and capture them. Not my concern. So, I was asking, what do you do when you like the rules? You're used to the structure and knowing what to do and identifying where the rock step goes, and this is a basic. When I first started blues dancing, I was like, oh, I need structure. I can't just have this free form. Like, I don't know what to do here. Now, I these days call blues the Argentine tango of the swing world. And I actually sometimes often love it more than swing. But nonetheless, it's so much less structure than swing, and okay, you rock step here and you do this. So I feel now that I'm getting to the point, or at least today's lesson seemed to have us where we're not doing only one thing, and we're doing things that may not on their own be recognizable as what we know as the basic swing step. And it's kind of like this chasm to be crossed or something, and I'm looking for where exactly the bridge is, because it's kind of like opening up to a new, I don't know, a new terrace or something, and I'm just trying to figure out, okay, well, how much weight does the bridge hold? How many people can fit across it? What are the specifications? How high up off the ground is it? And I'm just trying to find my way, because it was really fun to play in the lesson today and do things we hadn't done. I hadn't done. But I don't want to go so crazy that it can't be recognized for what it's intended to be. Now, I know my question came across a lot more clearly to him than I don't know if I'm communicating now, but his basic answer was, it's like a house. You build foundation, then you do things step by step until you have the house, and then you paint the house, then you put the furniture in, then you paint the inside walls, hang some pictures. You don't hang pictures as your first step when you don't even have the house built. So you start off your dance syncing up and building trust and letting your leader know, you can trust me, I'm not going to go crazy, or as he said, I'm not going to murder you, especially if it's Lindy and it's really fast. And from there, you build it, you expand it, you put more layers in, and then towards the end, you can kind of go to the crazy town, I guess, because you've already established kind of your identity together in this dance, and now it's kind of safe to do so. And that felt pretty good to me. I felt secure. I definitely need to think about that more and learn more, but it definitely gave me a direction to go and some more security, that even when I'm having my insecurities, even when I'm dancing with this face, or especially when I'm leading, that it's okay. I can maybe come back to the relaxed way and smiling when I'm dancing, and that I don't have to apologize constantly, both verbally and with my face, that it's okay to be in a state of learning. And especially he recommended telling your partner when you're at a dance, okay, I'm going to try working on musicality today, so that they know why you might be doing something that you might not normally do, they know what to expect, etc. So it's just another wonderful lesson in communication. And I'm almost at 10 minutes, and I feel like I just covered that one bullet point. So thank you for listening. I hope you dance. I hope you learn. I hope you expand your physical repertoire, and I hope you have a great week.